It's the boom, well going, brother, wherever you are on the world wide web. Welcome back to another installment of Edutainment, the place where you are left laughing, you are smiling, but most importantly, where you are learning something that you can apply to your own personal life and make it better. So, obviously, I talk about addiction, specifically weed, but I'm also trying to increase, muscle up your financial literacy, get your financial gains on. So one thing to keep in mind about when you are getting a car and shit and you are leveling up, is that a way? From the bus and train life, is the cost of your car. And I'm not just talking about the initial cost. Ideally, you should be paying your car in cash. But I'm not just talking about the cost of the car, but also the maintenance fee. I think on average, the average maintenance of a car, just in general, is about $9,000. Yours may not be that much, but that's just something to keep in mind about once you do buy a car. Like, can you afford the maintenance fee, the insurance cost of that car, and so and so. For me, I live downtown, so man's just walk everywhere. I take the bus if I need to, take the train if I need to, but if you can avoid having a car, avoid that shit. And if you can stay at home, for that matter, to save some money, stay at home. I'm just saying. But let's get into it. How cars keep you broke. The truth. Courtesy of Marko. No cap, no long talk. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to WhiteBoard Finance. My name is Marko, and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. Today we're talking about how cars keep you broke. So all over the world, cars are like a prized possession. They're highly regarded. People love their car. So what are some quick reasons as to why cars are so highly regarded? So in my personal opinion, I think the first one is that cars are linked to memory or nostalgia, okay? So everyone remembers their first time either driving a car or owning a car. It allows them to get away from their parents. It allows them to get freedom, if you will. And those memories are linked to parties, music, legal and illegal activities, which I will not mention on this channel. I'm trying to keep it PG here. But at the end of the day, the car is always linked to positive memories. So the first one is memory or nostalgia. The second, and I think that this is actually the most important, is work. So people obviously need to get from point A to point B in order to earn an income.
Especially when you live in the suburbs. Holy, the suburbs. Every place is so far. I live in Brampton. Back home when I'm with my parents, I'm in Brampton. So just to get from one place to the next, I have to take a car. Bro, the buses just take so long to get there. If you're in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying. In the city, you don't really need to bus too far before you get to your destination. But suburbs, just to get to your grocery store, it's submission. Especially in winter, I feel y'all. But really, real talk though, I know you're gonna get to it, but you wanna avoid car payments. Pay for your car, save up, pay that in cash, without having that car payment coming out of your income each month. Imagine you are doing a car payment, then you're also doing a phone plan payment, and now you have your income is getting dispersed into all these other things, right? Your income is your greatest wealth building tool. You don't want to play with that shit, right? Save up, buy the car, and then after a while, once you are okay and you want to need a new car, save up again, trade that car in, sell it, get a new car. That's how you gradually work your way up to it.
Obviously, you can be an Uber driver, and your car can actually be a source of income. You can be a blue-collar worker, to where you're a handyman with a pickup truck, and you have all your tools, and basically all your stuff and your supplies are in your car. And then finally, I think if you're in a sales role, whether you need to get to clients' offices or say you're a real estate agent, for example, you obviously need to show up to showings, you need to have open houses, you're doing this with cars. And not only that, your clients will perceive you as successful if you pull up in a nicer car. Say you pull up in a Mercedes, oh, you must be the best real estate agent in the world because you can afford a Mercedes, right? And then finally, I think the biggest reason is status. So people with nicer cars, again, are perceived as successful, whether it's true or not. They could be up to their eyeballs in debt, and they could be just keeping up with the Joneses, but hey, they got that nice Mercedes or BMW, so people perceive them as successful. okay? So let's talk about some quick stats about the car industry. This is something that I found very interesting. In 2018, car manufacturers globally, okay, the entire world, spent $38.5 billion on just marketing alone, and about $18 billion of that was in the United States, okay? So why do you think car manufacturers are spending so much money trying to get you into the dealership and move metal? That's because it's a huge industry, okay? It's a huge industry that supports a lot of people and a lot of jobs. Now let's get into the meat of this video. So the way cars keep you poor is a combination of three things, okay? The first is that most people cannot afford to pay cash for a car, so they're borrowing, and with borrowing comes interest.
A quick tip to actually build towards saving saving for a car is anytime you want to like eat out or you want to spend some money, just think about it this way. Just ask yourself, would I rather have a car instead? If you're saving towards a car and you are trying to build some saving habits, just ask yourself, anytime you're about to eat out, like, would I rather have a car instead? Just ask yourself that every single time, and that will build up that financial muscle to save rather than spend the money all the time, right? Pack your food, pack your lunch, make food at home, and ask yourself, would I rather have the car instead? Simple.
You're borrowing money to get you into a car that depreciates over time, meaning it loses its value, and you also have to maintain it. So we have borrowing money, you have to pay interest to get you into depreciating asset that you have to maintain over time, okay? So with depreciation, new cars on average typically lose 63% of their value in the first 5 years. And not only that, brand new cars, the second you drive them off the lot, they typically lose 10% on average of their value, okay? So for easy numbers, if you have a $20,000 car, the second you turn the key and leave the lot, that car is now worth 18 grand. You just lost $2,000 like that.
Just like that.
And typically that number is even higher with German cars or luxury cars. So let's talk about maintenance. You're always going to have ongoing maintenance with the vehicle. You have insurance, you have brakes, rotors, tires, oil changes, all that good stuff. And if you're someone in the comments saying, oh, Marko, that came with my plan, I prepaid all the maintenance up front, blah, 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 you're still paying for it. And not only that, you're paying for it up front, which is actually hurting your opportunity cost to invest that money in things that can grow over time. That's known as the time value of money. Okay, that's actually a topic for another video. So let's get into the actual meat and potatoes and the numbers of how much this car payment actually costs you. According to USA Today in March of 2019, the average car payment in the United States of America is $551 at 69 months. Wow. I don't know about you, $551 is a lot of money to me. Maybe my viewers are a lot more, wealthy than I am, but that's a big number to me. Imagine paying that over 5.75 years. That's what 69 months is. So since this is a financial channel and people actually want to see the math, if you invested this $551 over 69 months into an investment vehicle that makes you 7%, that's going to be worth $46,343.57, okay? With you contributing roughly $38,000 and you making $8,324 in interest alone over these 69 months. So is it worth it, you guys? Is financing that car worth you making almost $50,000 in about 6 years? No. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money to me. So what a lot of people do is they pay for cars with cash and they take the difference that they would have had in a car payment, they invest it, and when they need a new car in about 5 or 6 years, guess what they do? They sell the car that they currently own, and they go pay cash for a brand new car. Or you can choose to do whatever you want with this money. So let's imagine that you invested this 7% instead of over 69 months, which is what the average term for the loan is. Let's say you invested 551 over making 7.
I've never been big on the whole like car shit, man. I've never been big on the whole car shit. Especially if it's gonna cost you that much just to if you can just avoid like payments, loan payments and things coming out of your pocket, just avoid that shit. Pay it in cash, you're good to go. If you're currently already in like a payment plan or something like that, trade in your car for a cheaper one that you can actually afford. Take a pride hit, take a hit to your ego, to your pride, and actually live according to your lifestyle. F all Instagram, F all social media shit, Twitter shit. Just live according to your lifestyle without trying to put up a front. Who you trying to impress, really? You know, like, and you say, oh, I'm trying to get maybe, I don't know, some guys might say girls. I was like, you want the girl to like you or the car, you know?
10% over 20 years. So after 20 years, do you know how much this money turns into? It turns into $279,652, okay? With you contributing roughly $132 and making $147,000 just in the compound interest alone by doing absolutely nothing and just sitting on it. Now, is 7% guaranteed? Absolutely not. However, the stock market over decades has averaged 7 to 10%. Yes, there's some ups, yes, there's some downs, but over the course of 20 years, you're gonna end up somewhere right around 7%. So I hope this video was eye-opening and enlightening, that you can see that if you just delay gratification for a little bit and you invest the difference, this is what you'll come out with at the end over 20 years. If you want to invest over, 5.5 years, 5.75 years, you're still making 46 grand, assuming 7% interest. So if this video was powerful,
Essentially, buy a car you can afford, take into account the maintenance fees, the maintenance costs, insurance, oil change, stuff like that of the car, and you'd be good to go. Straight up, you do not gotta live above your means. You live below your means and you'll always have money, pretty much. And it's also the opportunity cost of what that money could be doing for you, right? Paying off other debt that you like. Why would you if you can avoid debt, whenever possible, avoid it. The only time you should really be getting into any type of debt is when you know there's a positive ROI. Especially when it comes to cars, there's no positive ROI. Like for business, when you hear about people that put themselves into debt, oftentimes is that they're doing it for business purposes. Like they already have a business model in place, they already have a proven system, and they're just trying to accelerate the process to actually make their money quicker, right? And then they can pay that money back in a very quick time manner. But like purposely putting yourself into debt on a car that's not gonna be worth as much later on, just take time, take it easy, save up, ask yourself, would you rather eat out or would you rather have the car? And if the car is that important to you, you will build up the habit of not eating out as much, not spending as much money on clothes, and paying for that car in cash. Owing nobody, just doing your shit. But yo, God bless, much love, peace, and joy. Namaste. Hopefully that opened your eyes a little bit. And yeah, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. And too much of any good thing is good for nothing. Alright, bro.
Fucking that. Like a violin. Free my niggas that's in the slammer. Freedom. She wanna hug, I your MC Hammer. Can't test it, can't test it. And please don't tempt me, cause you will be right up in the heavy. I'm going. Oh no.